Hey everybody, it's Thursday.
And Josh almost said Tuesday because it's been a crazy week and it was 4th of July. So welcome to this week's edition of the Night Bite.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Emily. And I almost forgot that part because we are ready to, get to conversations almost. We're having a good night and excited to talk fishing. So, with that, how has our fishing been here lately?
Really slow. We had some really crazy weather come through. It was hot and cold and rainy and everything in between. And I'm looking forward to a nice steady 70 degrees and partly cloudy and no wind and no rain and just some fish in the boat.
Well, that's what they say the forecast is going to be. So I'm excited to see what it actually turns out as.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
With that, let us know how your fishing. Let us know how your fishing is going. Let us know, what your water temperatures are at because things have been up and down quite a bit. And let us know what you're out there catching because I'm a fan of panfish of all kinds. Well, I guess I'm a fan of all fish, but I'm interested to hear what you like too.
Yep. And as always, post your questions. All the comments are welcome, and this should be a fun show.
And I guess the other thing, if you are one of those people who is still traveling for summer, don't forget to look us up on your local podcast channel because we take all of these videos that we do, these interviews, and we put them out for you to listen to. So even if you're not there to see us, that's part of the fun sometimes, but you can always tune in no matter where you are or where you're going.
Yeah. So for those of you that like to listen to us and not have to look at my sweet mug here, you can just turn into the podcast. So that's a fun thing.
Awesome. And I guess the last thing that I'm going to say here is, if you guys have comments or questions or anything along the way, definitely put that in, that comment section over there. And we would love to get to that because, with our guest tonight, we love talking fishing. So maybe let's bring him in.
All right. We got, without further ado, Mr. Brian Brosdahl.
How you guys doing? How's your summer going?
Oh, it's going. It's cruising right along.
That's awesome. It's good to see both of you. It's been a long time since we were able to talk, and I think it was at the St. Paul Ice Show 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was a busy show. It was a lot of fun being there, and it's good to be on your show tonight. And hopefully everybody out here can enjoy tonight's show. The bite in our area, I don't know if you were going to ask that, but I'm just offering it, is it was really going fast, and it really got tough here in northern Minnesota. So there's fish biting. You just got to take the opportunities that arise, so there's so many different sized bodies of water that there's always a bite going on somewhere between Leech, Winnie, Cass, Bemidji, and then down to, in Itascona, there's 1,000 lakes. So if anybody's traveling in northern Minnesota, pay close attention and don't be afraid to trailer. If your lake ain't snapping, use the resort, but, move around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting aspect of things that you're talking about there because, up in your area, you do have quite a few resorts. But, I got to admit, the majority of people, I would say, probably don't live in those areas, which is why we love to vacation there, right? But, a lot of people don't have even the ability to have resorts around them. So that's a really funny point.
Well, yeah, there's not. There's some lakes have like 3 or 4, some lakes have 7, but even Winnebagosh only has 7 or 8. I mean, I could name them off, but there's not a lot for a 65,000 acre lake. Leech Lake used to have close to 70 resorts, and I think now it has like 30. And
wow.
So there's not a lot, and there's some RV places around, and that I don't like the trend, but there's getting to be less and less places, but there's always campgrounds. There's some beautiful campgrounds around, and in the past, a lot of them aren't even being used, and now they're kind of busy. But to give you an idea, it's fishing is a big deal, and it's a big part of the economy here. But we're still 5% of the existing population, and over the 4th of July, Cass Lake normally has maybe 60 boats, like corner to corner, top to bottom, mixed of joyriding. It had over 1,000 boats on the 4th of July. And
Wow.
I think like maybe 5 people were fishing. It was Mardi Gras out there, so it was really hard to find a school of fish that wasn't scared to death. I thought I heard walleye screaming when I was going around out there, and I wasn't sure what happened. I just see, look on side imaging, and I see the Monster Energy drink blur, because, and they're screaming and running this way, and then they're going like this way, and I kept, I'm like, oh my God, they're really scared. I could hear them. And there's jet skis and water skis. And hey, I'm glad you're having fun out there and the wake boats and everything. It was truly a science experiment, and we did catch a few fish that ran into our hooks.
Yeah, probably on accident that happened. Yeah.
But it's that time of year, so. But yeah, how's the bite been in your area? You getting a few crappies around there?
Well, that's actually a funny question, because we haven't fished our local area very much recently, because we had a vacation at Chippewa Flowage and all of that. So it was a few weekends in there. Last week, we did fish our local waters, but to be honest, I also was on some very popular waters on the holidays. And, I thought honestly, it was my best chance for fish. And then I started to see, like you're saying, I didn't quite hear the screams over the motors that were around me. But, I just think that fish were all kinds of shook up this weekend. That is a really interesting point that you're bringing up, though, because we do have a few local lakes that we love, but they don't get fished very often, but they do get a ton of boat traffic. So, we're talking about all these boats that are hitting the water, and they're out there, all these sporting things. If you as a fisherman find these lakes, when the fish get used to the boaters, because it takes a little while, but if you can find a way to fish around them, some of these lakes really do have some hidden gem fish in it. Oh,
absolutely. I mean, yeah, I hear about Minnetonka, and I experienced it with a brand new boat, and I'm trying not to scratch it and drive across the lake. And everyone was laughing at me because I was driving like an old man like this, and there'd be like a jet ski, then someone on a surfboard paddling through, and then a ship would go by. Like, I don't know how they even got it in this body of water. And it was, I was just trying to get across. We were going to go get something to eat over at this place on the lake, and I think we parked a mile away on Lord Fletcher's. And so we're in there, or we're going up there, and my goodness, everybody's just having a great time, and I couldn't find a spot where I could stand in the boat, but it was there's always fish to catch. I mean, eventually the fish just get used to living in a big Jello bowl, getting struck around all the time, but around here, it's pretty quiet. Like when that thou or so of people that the DNR creoled, it wasn't my bro estimate. It was a thou or so that they said were there. I went to a lake that had 7 boats for 3,000 acres. So it was kind of nice. You were hoping a boat would come by to kind of shoo the fish your way as they're leaving, but it's been really good to see people. I mean, honestly, after last year, I'll take all the life and happiness. It's just great, and I plan on being opposite of a crabby fisherman. If I fall out of the boat because someone would buy, that's fine. That's just what it is. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Don't knock me out of the boat. But I want you to have fun. I'm going to have fun too.
Yeah. Well, and kind of the similar story to that. We're fishing the river. And, we don't often see pontoons with, or tri-toons with pulling tubers down, a 50-foot wide river, and jet skis and all this. And then
a giant houseboat.
A giant
like
houseboat.
You're saying, how did you even launch into this
And that's
water?
not even a lie,
No,
And so, and we're fishing backwaters that are only like, 4 to 8 feet deep. So it's like, those fish were really tucked way in there, and the 2 that we did catch, it was like, did the bobber twitch, or was that the boat's waves moving by, and then you lifted up on it, and there was weight at the bottom, so it was, it was almost like ice fishing, because we had to super downsize, and it was crazy. But
in other words, you went up to the bank and cast it into a bird feeder,
Yeah.
into the bird bath and pull the fish out of there.
Right.
I have a theory, and Heather kind of fed this idea. I think the walleyes actually leave the lake, go up on shore, and hide in the trees like Ewoks. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, there's times you go out there, and I got side, down, up, backwards view, and everything but cooking them to a fillet from looking, and they're gone. And then the next day, they're everywhere. So walleye still have, she says they're resting, but walleye still, all fish have a way of hiding. If they don't, I mean, how are they going to rest? So they need to rest too to get growth.
Yeah, and so this weekend, I think we're planning on trying out a brand new lake.
Yeah, well, I love fishing new water, and I've never, like today I was shooting a show with the Petersons for Northland Fishing Tackle. Got to fish with Jace and Charlie Peterson, who are the grandkids of John and Dwayne Peterson, and I mean they're doing media, they're doing stuff, but I hooked some rough fish. And they just looked at me. They go, "You like anything with a tail?" And I said, "You're darn right. If it fights on a rod, I'm happy." And I'm like, buck for the biggest rough fish right now, and I won it.
Oh, nice.
Charlie gave me a race right at the end, and but he just we were fishing for whatever that was rough. It cannot be a bluegill or a crappie or a walleye. We were catching walleyes pretty good, but we, up here, Red Lake and some different bodies of water have sheephead on them. And
yeah, we saw that one picture.
Oh my gosh,
that was a beautiful fish.
Yes, I mean I've been in tournaments on Green Bay and had boards sink when you're pulling a board with a spinner, and all of a sudden your board goes by and it goes, whoa, and it goes back, and I'm like, hey, what's your name, co-angler? Okay, you want to reel that one in? Yeah. And if it kind of just nibbles like this, then I go, I'll get that one.
I'll get that one.
Oh, this one's not fighting as much, but it's a lot of fun. Anything that fights or bites is a blast. We got some good stuff shot and some walleyes and new tackle that's going to be debuted at ICAST, and it's all part of the fun, So new things are cool, and a lot of companies are bringing stuff. And ICAST is so fun, and it's coming up. It's not going to be a full attendance. I'm hearing a lot of companies are going, but there's still quite a few going. I definitely plan on being there next year. I have a pretty full schedule this year, and I can't disappoint the clients.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's absolutely what it's all about in the first place. I do think though last year ICAST went virtual, and that was totally an interesting twist. And I think that this year they're keeping some aspects of that. So don't quote me on what that is, but I know that their website has some of that information, and I think that some of it they're trying to get out to the people as well. So go and check that out because it's cool.
Yeah, just have your computer talk to my computer, and maybe they can artificially intelligize everybody, right? Yeah, so it's pretty soon I'll just be able to get my scoop from Siri. Hey, what happened over there? And she could check with the other series, But I plan on going there, like in person. Carbon footprint human. I'm going there. There's a lot of computer stuff. We're talking in a boat. You're looking at all this technology. You're looking. You've got your Altera. It goes down on its own. It'll take you anywhere on the lake. And Minn Kota. I got my side imaging on my Humminbird. I've got a Bluetooth to my Talon. I got my AquaView so I can actually see see their nose hairs. And we started talking about, you hear about AI. I said, what if all my boat electronics realize themselves? They take over. What's going to happen? Do they need me anymore? Are they going to get me out of the boat somehow and just take off and go start chasing their own fish? I mean, I know. I'm sorry. I've been on the sun too long.
Well, that's the thing is that's why the rods and reels have stayed manual for so long.
Yeah, we don't want the computers to take over because I mean, they'd make us look bad, wouldn't they?
Right.
What happens if a computer strikes out, though? Does it explode or delete itself or what? So it's not easy.
That's,
Yeah.
So is your mayfly hatches over there?
Oh, which one?
Yeah, I would say for the most part it's pretty much over. We had it was pretty I don't know if the people down on Winnebago would say this, but I would say it was pretty lackluster.
Yeah, with the lack of rain.
It was pretty dry around here. We were down we were down like
sure
3-4 inches.
In the catnip. I had 7-Up, everybody.
But we were down 3-4 inches of rain, and it was pretty dry around here. And but with the lack of mayfly hatch, also came with the lack of mosquito hatch. So we've been enjoying that.
An increase in the black flies.
Yeah, well.
Ooh, they take a bigger drop of blood than mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And they don't have that like insulin needle. They have a horse needle that they stab in you, and they take a spade full of flesh when they bite you.
Yeah, they do.
I'm saying, when a horsefly bites you,
right?
Okay, so actually, that makes me. I've got to ask. So I think it was actually Heather that posted the other day, and was it even a pink hat that she has, and there was duct tape on it and like a bunch of flies on it?
Yeah.
So the question is that a swatting hat, or they just come and they land and get stuck?
They land and they're like, I'm gonna like bite a hole in this person, and they get stuck, and they're like, oh. And then you take off the hat and you go, okay, I got 8 that time. The next time you go to the garden, you got like 20. and this all started because she got bit, didn't really know, in that mop on her head, and they were biting it. And then got her several times and she didn't know, but when you get hit a lot by flies, doesn't matter how resilient you are, it's like kryptonite. It's going to get you. And she had just a sore head and didn't feel good because she got bit on her arms, and so we got even. So those same flies, they'll pester you over and over and over, and there's less and less now. Every time she walks through, it's like there's flies stuck to that tape on her hat.
Yeah.
And it's really a neat idea, and after a while you got to take it off because there's no room for new flies.
They just bounce off the old ones.
You get some hungry birds trying to land, so but yeah, it's when you got biting flies, some people get sick from them. A lot of people don't, but you can't spray bug spray in your boat. It deters bites and might take the finish off the inside of your boat if you have any boat, whether it's aluminum or fiberglass. It's not good for anything. Yeah. And so I don't allow bug spray. It says right on my guide page, no bug spray. And if you use sunscreen, you put it on before. Don't overspray over everything I own. And I had one day where they put it on, and on my seat there was a shape of a human in sunscreen. And,
no!
And it doesn't come off. I mean, it takes like, I think it's still there after several scrubbing. So I'm not being a stickler, but I want them to catch fish, and I'm gonna do a video on how to cast a reel and fight a fish, so that they don't learn in the last half hour of the day. I want them to be ready for prime time. Like, you get in the boat, set the hook.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And just a suggestion: don't reel the fish through the rod to the reel.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
If you tie a fish to the tip of your rod and then just lift the net over and over, and it's going like this in the net, and you get a northern that's going like this, I'm just sitting there
waiting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. So far I've got a good thing going on, but you just suggest.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So we did have a question come up, actually. So it's not actually along these lines, but with the ice shows, you said you're not going to ICAST this year. Will you be going to shows like St. Paul, Sioux Falls, blah blah blah, all of those?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going to those shows. ICAST is a different thing. I mean, I've been to so many. I can't remember how many I've been to, and I've gone to Vegas many times. I've gone to Orlando, and I kind of work through all the booths. And it's always a tough situation because you can't be everywhere in that entire. When the show's going, I can't be at all my sponsors at the same time. But I don't like. I mean, I'm not catering to one more than the other, and sometimes it's good to be there multiple days, and I'll be there mostly the whole time, maybe not the last day because that's when everybody loads up, but it's an absolute great time, and I'd like to be able to walk around the show and look at everything, but we get so busy there, and I love it in Vegas. Nothing against Orlando. Vegas is, you get an opportunity to meet the retailers a little bit more, and in Orlando you get to meet fishermen a little more, and they're cool. But you want to help your company sell product, and it's both are neat. I guess I'd like Florida more if I could stay and fish a little bit.
Yeah.
In Vegas too, but make sure you check the axes because I think they're down like 8 feet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
Right?
I believe that.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
So what are some of the regional shows you're doing this year?
I'm going to be doing, it's TBA, to be announced. I'll have to see who or what I have to do. I'd like to do my normal milk run, where I go around the Twin Cities, Wisconsin area. I love visiting. I have a great time in Appleton. I have a great time in Wausau area. I love visiting even Rice Lake, Madison, North, it's not just North, but in that area wherever there's something, great people, and of course Green Bay, but Green Bay has its share of pros. They're pro'd out. I mean, they got so many pros over there because they got guides and they got pro fishermen galore over there. Like to get in those places that don't get visited. And I've even been to Marshfield. If you know where that's at, that's like, that's quiet. You walk in there, and they're like, and you're visiting, and it's really cool, and it's nice to hear their stories. And of course, Michigan. I love Michigan. Michigan, it seems so far away, but it's really not. And the people are really cool, laid back, great fishing people, just like Wisconsin and Minnesota, and they're super, super nice. It's one of the really cool spot. If you've never been there, take a day trip and go visit fish or do something different. And like the Dakotas, like Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I just had a family in my boat from Sioux Falls, and we had a great fishing trip, and it was great spending time with them, and it wasn't hot out. It was only like 80 degrees. It wasn't. See, that's a new hot for me because I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I had some days it was 98, 96, and I was like ice cream. I mean, when I get an ice cream cone and it's hot out, what do? You put it in a bowl? Because I'm thinking at home, it's going to be all over the place. I'm telling you, they should have just put me upside down in a bowl. I was just a mess. I'm sweating, and I'm just like, and I look at my customers. They're like, I'm like, what part of this is fun? When you breathe out, you're breathing the same air. There's nothing fresh. You know what I mean? Don't pop or do anything else because it's there. It's going to stay there. You know what I'm saying? And it was so hot. And then there's no wind.
Yep.
You can hear someone talking from like 2 miles away, real quietly. You're like, I just heard him talk on shore. Quiet. You could hear you hear stuff like
you hear the walleyes that are hiding in the trees.
you hear them screaming again. It's hot. Or actually, there's walleyes that complain. It's like, this is up north, right? What's with this heat thing? I mean, 79-degree water. The water was up to 80, and then it went down like to 76, and now 79, like every day. It's like, that's well, I guess it's good, but this is a cold water species area, and you got whitefish that are a cold water species. You got trout. You've got lake trout. You got, over on the Great Lakes, get salmonoid species. But there's a lot of things, eel pout, you name it. But
Right.
the whole dynamics is built up on that. So it's going to be interesting. But one thing, extended periods of hot water do stress fish. But, I don't need a study to show that extended periods of hot water, it seems like the fish grow way faster. You get better growth rates. You can look at the rings, take your own sample and look at it, what the DNR does. And the fish, they have a longer growing season, just like they would down south. But it is a form of stress, I guess. But so we do need to stay cool. But hopefully this is just a temporary thing like it was in the past, like in 98, and which I don't remember, but I just read it.
I just read it. So does the heat have anything to do with the amazing bluegills I've seen you pull up this year? Because it's crazy.
No, that's after a trip, going fishing to catch them, just having a great time. And Heather and I'll hit the water, and where there's been some giants in. It's not a lot of them. When you're fishing for those things, you're fishing for you're just fishing for a couple of really big ones. And so we're talking about bluegills that are 11 and a half inches and stuff like that. And it's fun, and you got to make time. And so if I'm on the water from 7:03, and if I have to clean fish, or then you get home, you get ready for the next day, and then you go fishing. It's a long day. I'm not going to do it all the time, but we got out and we chased some bluegills when they were biting, and that was kind of on the verge of mayflies. Now we're past it. So the bluegills have settled way down, but there were some giants, and I heard the biggest one that I heard of is 13 and a half.
Oh my.
And that's
okay,
not
so
a lot,
how do I book you for that trip next year?
Yeah, we just have to figure out when we're pre-mayfly, not post.
No, my schedule's flexible.
That's really good. We like that, because I tell you, they fight so good, and they hit so hard. It's unbelievable, especially in that warm water. And then mayflies come in. They just, like you said, it was the never-ending mayfly hatch.
Yeah.
And so a mayfly, you're talking midges come out first, which is a bloodworm that turns into a bug, and that's popcorn. A mayfly is, here's a burger, here's another burger, here's a hot dog, here's a burger. These fish are stuffed. I had a walleye cough one up here like 3 days ago. This ball, it was like yarn, and it was like little branches. It was mayflies, and they were so tightly wound out of their stomach. How do they even digest them? It was like a ball of wild rice or something. And so I could see why it takes a little bit of time. But a lot of fish in my area are still shallow, and those fish will not bite. They're there. Their stomachs, the entire insides are packed. And if you want to have good fishing, you've got to go a little bit more mid-range, 14, 18 feet, or find lakes where the fish are dropping deeper, and that's going to make a big difference. Those fish might not be as impacted, but walleyes do move shallow to digest their food. That's their main purpose, to shallow, other than feed. So a lot of times it's hard to get them to trigger.
So, especially when fish are so interested in a bug bite, a lot of people are still using their ice jigs. We have Jay saying that he does love your ice jigs. He's asking if you have new ice gear coming out this year, or if you could highlight some of your favorites.
So give us one. You don't have to give us all of them.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's gonna be at ICAST, and let's see, we're revisiting something from the past, and I can't say anymore. And we're upping it to kind of what's the new trend. And in tackle, I've just given you 2 clues there, but we're bringing some stuff that's going to be really awesome in all aspects of the tackle. Looking forward to it, and I've got some new designs this year. I've got I don't know. Maybe I can say that I have a couple of spoons coming out. One namesake, and then I got some other tackle coming out. So, and this is a revisit to what kind of started the ball rolling, and it's really cool because it's stuff that's kind of been sitting there on a shelf, and I'm excited about it, and I've used it, and I got to use it last year. I'm telling you, dude, you're gonna be dude and dudettes. You're gonna be excited. This is gonna be great. So I'm telling you right now, pretend you're at an ice hole, grab your ice fishing rods, and go set the hook, because the fish are going to be there soon, and it's going to be great. You're going to love it. What's coming? And Northland Tackle has some really cool stuff. Humminbird's is going live. There's some stuff coming out with a little bit of everything, and I'm thinking on trolling motor too. But going live is going to be really cool. I mean, there's live out there with other companies. I want it in my Humminbird, and then now what though? If I can see my jig and watch the fish, do whatever it's doing, do I need one for that side now on the front and the back? I mean, are we even going to talk anymore, or are we all going to be staring like this?
Right.
How you doing? I'm fine.
Yeah.
I can't look right now. I can't look right now because there's a fish, and he's stomping his fins right now. He's getting ready to bite. But so that's coming out, and really cool stuff. St. Croix is going to hit the ICAST with both barrels. I'm excited about that. I can't say what. They'll poke rods in my eyes, so I can't say anything. And the surprises are coming, and Fish Monkey always brings great stuff. They protect your skin. You don't want to get cancer. I tan like a lobster, so I monkey up really good, and I get a good tan in my feet. That's about it. And then Fish Monkey, Aquaview has some really cool stuff, and definitely if you get a chance, check out all these places. But I'm thinking it's going to be a great year. Gamakatsu, there's some good hooks for walleye fishermen that you're going to love if you love using crawlers. They got a crawler hook, and Sunline is always stretching the boundaries of what you can do with fishing line. Looking forward to that. And Costa throws some great parties at Costa Del Mar, and they have super good glasses. And yeah, Gamakatsu is fun though, because nobody ever passes by that booth, because they got everything from shark hooks to walleye hooks to panfish hooks and everything in between. And it's kind of neat. And literally, if you take everything out of the packaging, all their stuff could fit in like one of my big Plano boxes, But when you put it in package, it's fun. It's fun with these companies, dealing with them, and it's been great. I have no complaints, and look for Frable to bring some really cool, the edge boxes, the rust proofing, and the containment. I should have had them to show you here. You could hold my boxes upside down, and they're not gonna be all tangled. But I've got bags full of those, and I'm becoming more organized because of Plano and Frable. Bait containment's huge. It's giant. It's around the globe, and their stuff is so popular right now. They just can't keep it in stock. But I like stuff like this. This is your snap weights and little compartments here that when you're dealing with beads. Size 5, size 6 beads. Now you can keep them separate. Mine look like Skittles, and it's really relaxing sorting beads and having a cocktail. But the problem is, then you're cross-eyed. So after a while, I just dump it all out and I just order new ones. But keep your beads organized. Right now, we are in the time where you're going to use spinners or just put a bead on your line. If you're using a roach rig, I like using beads, but this stuff's cool, and that's part of the Edge Tackle Box series. And there's something else for ice fishing coming there. I can't say, but let's say it'll organize your line of fishing. And so there's stuff coming in all aspects not so much in what you're sitting in, but what you're using when you're on the ice. And I can't say any more, but I would just want you to look forward to looking what's in the Frable booth as far as tactical fishing gear. I love their Z Series bags. There's one that I have that you can fold up. It's really heavy hook and loop, and it clips, and you could just dunk it in the water and you don't even get it wet because it's good. But so stuff like that's just it makes you so organized. And but I know the panfish fans are going to love what's coming on the ice, and for even open water next year in with the Northland picking up Bagley has really been a great brand for the bass side, but Northland Rumble Series crankbaits are awesome. And there's a Rumble Series. I just got my Rumble. I don't know if I can say the name, but I got the Rumble that's like that. It's coming, and I already had someone ask to borrow it. I don't know how they knew that I had this thing in my truck, but I had a friend say, I got a tournament. Can I borrow this? Because somebody used it and shellacked fish on Lake of the Woods nonstop. Great big ones up to 30 inches. And so these cranks are the real deal, and they're designed. And Jarmo Rapala helps in designing and doing this stuff. And those guys are super, super good at making stuff in heat compression molding of balsa wood and, through wire construction. So let's say you're catching a walleye. You don't have to worry. You catch a Spanish mackerel, you're okay. A cirrus mackerel, a shark, you hook into an alligator, you're okay. Okay, I'll stop talking. Sorry.
No, that's what I'm here to do, is hook into a big fish. But I love hearing you talk about the products because you certainly know a little bit more than many of us do.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing is there is so many shows and expos coming up, and honestly, with the lack of shows and expos last year, there were things that came out last year that I think many people don't know about. So this is going to be really a fun season coming up because it's almost going to feel like a double whammy of products coming to the market.
Well, in the parallel, you saying that, I think there's so many more fishermen this year. Like it's kind of like those times that you don't remember in the 90s, bro, when there was so many people that started fishing. We have another wave of that here in 2020, where so many people picked up the sport. Well, that makes that many more brains trying to figure out how to improve on fishing stuff. And you'll see all kinds of new stuff at the shows, and that's what I'm really excited about.
Could you give me the tackle by the couch there?
Sure.
Yeah, you guys probably haven't seen my tackle, but it gets ransacked. I'm on the water a lot, and I've got some organization to show you. But I'm turning a new leaf. But it's like that in Minnesota. Our here's just one of them. One of the boxes. You can see. It's one of my secret boxes, so I'll have to that part. I've got a bass tournament coming up, and so if I go fast, you won't be able to see what's in it. But see how organized it is. I can turn it upside down. Oh.
Someone's out here trying to pause the video, and it's just a blur.
Yeah, so it's really cool to have that stuff in there like that. And I've been in tournaments, and I'm like, where's the doohickey? And you're looking around, you tear your boat apart, and it's all semi-organized, and then you find it later packed way in there.
Yeah.
And compartments, what are compartments good for? Losing stuff at the bottom. And whenever I need something in that compartment in my boat, there's always some guy's wife sitting there. And if I go in there, I'm reaching over them. So it's been kind of crazy. But I'm sponsored by a tackle bag company, so I just take tackle bags with me. Then all I have to do is reach down by my seat. But I might have to go in that compartment that's right by your leg. And I mean no harm.
Well, that's a great point though, having that stuff by your seat, because I run a bag.
That one I can't show.
Our new bags, we run Lakewood products now, and we have the Lakewood top shelf, and that's actually like a drawer system almost, where a 3700 you can fit 6 of them stacked vertically, and you pull it out like drawers.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would be, you were showing those little compartments for your beads. It would be really nice. It would be really nice to get one of
My
those
emergency kit.
What'd
Yeah.
you say?
What'd you say?
You ready? My emergency kit.
Oh.
You never know, like, you know, you're out and you're like, oh, I need this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that it's small and portable.
Yeah.
Small and portable, but loaded.
Yeah. It's got some good stuff in there, to be honest. Yeah.
Look at that. They don't even shake around. You ain't going to lose the paint. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff coming, and there's been some stuff coming out. You know, today I've seen, you know, in mimic minnows and in crankbaits and a lot of things that are going to really be awesome for next year, for the rest of this year, but for next year. And I think that the crankbait stuff is first class, and it's not some plastic thing that's going to break. And that's what I like. I actually got something that you know, that yarn, you know, actual, you know, one of the legends is helping make. And so fishing has really become fun. And you know, it's fun for people just to get into it. You know, I was sharing stories of starting out and having a GPS that took a while to acquire signal. Before GPS, I'd line up that pine tree with this other hill on the shoreline, or a red house,
Red
All
house.
right.
yellow house. And then you know, and that's complicated because then someone likes that color and you got multiple red houses. But and then, you know, you pull up your antenna and pull out your and you acquire your GPS spot, and as you're going to this dot, and you're driving along and you pass it by, and then you go back, and then it says it's this way and that way. So then you kind of sketch the spot. And I remember when the Grizz on Mille Lacs showed me what the mudflats look like, because he had books of maps that he made, you know, with sketches, and to this day, his stuff looked like what's on the map now. But taking all of this technology, and now I just turn this on button, and I can see a fish that's I'm not even near, you know, and I can see him swimming away, but I still can't hear him screaming because the boats get too close.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen pretty soon, you know. And but it's amazing, you know, just hitting a button on my graph, and then the Altera goes down, and you start fishing, and then I will never take for granted, and I'm glad it's there. I don't care how I started, you know, that's great and everything, but I'm embracing technology.
Yeah.
You know, and I thank everybody that paved that part of the road.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
That's great. You know, it's just fantastic. And what's to happen next, you know? So how far can you go with technology is what I'd like to see. And I see everybody using it. I was in a tournament, and I seen a fish that was 60 feet away on Lake Bemidji. And I'm like, oh, there's a fish. There's 3 of them. And I threw it, and they looked like they were good. We had our 2 big fish. We needed some unders. They looked like 19 inches, and I threw a jig towards them. And in midair, I got crossed by 2 other lines. I'm like, whoa, game is on. Everybody's got, you know, the technology, and I get some of the stuff early, and it was really cool. But as soon as I have some of the new stuff, I'll definitely let you know. And but I do have side imaging on my front trolling motor, and you've seen the stuff that you point and look. Yeah. It's like that, but I don't use my hands. I have a foot pad. I turn it and I stop, and I could see forward. I could see behind the boat. I just do little, and I don't do real micro moves. I do north, south, east, west, and a little bit of northeast, southeast.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, northwest and southwest, but just little micro moves. in eighth turns, quarter turns. Quarter turns will get you by, and you can see pitch, and you know how far to cast, and you scroll it out, you can measure the distance. Cool stuff. And, you know, with Northland too, look at their plastics with optical brighteners and everything. Mm-hmm. This stuff is going to be great, and can't wait to try some of this stuff, not just Minnesota, Wisconsin, Dakotas, the Great Lakes. This stuff's going to work there. And, you know, there's, you know, I wondered where all the casting started with Green Bay and Michigan, not Michigan, I mean, but Green Bay, Badenoch. You know, you hear about these tournaments where people caught fish casting, but all the times when I competed in FLW and NWT, I tried pitching but didn't have the right stuff. But, you know, everybody was trolling, and now they're all being won casting. Yeah. And so it's just taking that chance. Now, who started it? I hear stories about several different names, but it was all at the same time. So who is the person behind all those names? Somebody out there figured something out, or everybody did at the same time. And that's the thing. There's so many good anglers that as a cumulative total, everybody comes up with stuff. But if you can cast on the Great Lakes and win a tournament after all those years of trolling, and still Erie's kind of not that way. Erie's a different thing. Those fish kind of like to bump it or follow the trail.
Kim Papno did that.
Chief Papineau, Kim Papineau did. He actually fished with ice fishing baits on the Detroit River and started a whole trend. But somebody casted, and I've talked to several people, and everybody says this person was first, but it's all different names. But I know one thing: they're casting now. So what's going to happen in your area? It'd be interesting to hear what people think, because there's new things coming up even out of that. There's people using puppet minnows under bobbers, spoons under bobbers, jigging spoons in the summertime, over brush. And this is stuff, planer boards for crappies. Tommy Scarlett started that in the championships down south. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next 10 years in fishing, because we're all fishing a certain way, but what's the next way? And that's going to be cool. Right.
Yeah. You know, that's going to be cool.
I'm excited just to see what it is, because fishing is evolving, and not for the bad, because people are throwing back fish. People are handling fish better, I think, and they're not keeping giant bluegills as much as there's some, you know, but those people might keep a few extra deer too, you know, and the woods. But, you know, but I mean, I watch people throw 11-inch bluegills back, and you're just like, that's awesome. You know, I mean, you know, so it's things are changing, but it'll be interesting to see what happens, because the Great Lakes, the crappie tournaments in the South, the Bassmaster Elite, the NWT, it's all got stuff, and everybody watches each other, even across the bass aisle to the walleye aisle to the ice fishing. So I love it. That's the stuff that I really love.
Yeah. That is really cool. We're also laughing because our dog is like nudging behind us because she gets a treat at 8:00 at night.
Cool. That's awesome. That's the Pavlov thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, I smell pizza, my stomach growls.
Yeah. Oh, there she is, checking into the episode.
Oh, that's a cute dog. Kind of looks like an Ewok.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's funny. That's really, I never noticed that until you said it. Now I can't unsee it.
If the dog starts talking to you, it's not my fault. In some foreign language.
No, though.
In Tatooine, is it Tatooine? Is the planet that Tatooinese? Tatooinese.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. Where do we just go now?
That's funny. That's true.
Bro is a Trekkie.
Oh.
I like when I was 3.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, I was one of those nerds that had comic books. We didn't have I didn't have a iPhone Pro 12 XL 264 with Siri talking to me. I had like a home phone that was stuck to the wall. That's what we had. we had go outside and play. Well, don't fall in the river. It's raging.
Yeah.
Don't kill any birds either.
You had click.
Yeah. Back then, it was get home, or even not that long ago. How many people you had to wait till you got home to listen to your messages? You have 32 messages.
Dude, yeah.
You're like, OMG. Like 8:00 at night, and I got 32 messages.
Like, what happened while I was
You
gone?
left to the last all day long. Text. And here, if you look at, I'm a knuckle dragger, caveman, and now I'm like, I broke my phone in half 2 months ago, like literally in half. The guy's like, I go, can you fix this? He goes, no way. Are you kidding me? He goes, I can't fix that. I broke the back and the front was shattered, right? And then I go, can you fix this? He took it out of the creased case, and he says, you broke your phone in half. I can't fix that. And I'm like, I don't know what to do without my phone. And I was like, I was crying. And then, I can't believe that happened.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so it's back, and somewhere in, hopefully my cloud isn't floating somewhere in some submarine somewhere off the coast, But
that's where all
they're
the rain came from.
Right.
yeah, if they take my cloud, they're gonna have a lot of fishing pictures, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And
But the good news, though, is that if people are looking to get a hold of you for a guide trip, they can do that now.
Absolutely. If you want to go on a guide trip, I promise I won't, be so sarcastic all the time.
That's probably not true.
We'll have a good time, and we catch fish, and we rarely do we do bad, like bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll we got a trailer and we got a car that runs, so but definitely just look at Bros Guide Service, or you can follow me on social media. I'm still booking trips right now. I'm booking towards October. My August and September is already completely full. August is pretty much full. And I still have some stuff in October, and it depends on what the schedule brings. And freeze up, I can go with the boat even in the first week in November if we get kind of a warm spell, and we freeze up here. And I'm like, I'm going till it freezes up. And then last year when I had the Ranger behind me in a snowstorm and wet snow, and I was doing this, and my boat was going like this, I'm like, okay, let me take this back.
Yeah.
If the weather's nice, you ever pulled something like that on ice in snow? It's not fun, and you're looking back at this thing, and it's caked. I had to take a shovel and shovel a pathway in my boat and help people so they wouldn't fall. And I can't throw salt in my boat, you know what I'm saying? So you get out, and then you're out in the lake, and you can't see shore because of the steam. And your pathway melts, but you still got snow around you. And I'm like, maybe I ain't gonna go that late.
Yeah.
Great time to fish.
Yeah, and then we do have a few people interested in guide trips. So, do you have a cost for open water ice?
Yeah. How much do you got?
How much?
There you go, Jay. How much you got in your pocket?
Check it out at Bros Guide Service. I have rates for 1 to 2 people is one rate, and then I have for extra people a third or fourth. And my ice rate is the same as my open water. But check with me too. I might have fish houses. I have my houses are cheap. It's like, there might be a day I might be 60 miles from one of my houses, and there might be an auger in there. I might say just cut the skim of ice. They're cheap. You know what I mean? But I try to put them on good spots, and it seems like in the wintertime people want a nice warm house that's on fish. And they don't need a split personality with them. You know what I mean? they just want the house, and everybody's got their own gear now. That's what it seems. So I run a few houses, and no, you'll never find my houses unless you look for an old shed on wheels. That's probably mine. If you see something with LED lights and it has like a custom paint job, it ain't mine.
Somebody else is out there with a beautiful custom bro shack, and it's not even you.
No, it's funny though. I actually met a couple of doppelgangers out there, and there's this guy. He's in Longville, and he was talking to Teddy at a show, and and Teddy was telling him the rough time he was having. Oh man, with this blah 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 and all this stuff, and talked to him for like 40 minutes. He goes, and he goes, well, I better get going. And he goes, hey, oh, thanks, bro. And I'm like, did you ever tell me you weren't me? And he goes, nope. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. And I'm like, so yeah, hopefully that doppelganger doesn't get in any trouble or anything.
Yeah.
And there's actually another Brian Brosdahl out there.
Oh,
Yeah, in a business
Oh,
suit, a
no.
lawyer.
Oh,
I can only handle one.
no.
Yeah, you forgot something at the golf course. Are you kidding me? Did I forget my shotgun or my decoys? What are you talking about? I didn't forget nothing there. Oh, and then I'm like, oh, that's right. Yeah, a relative.
And then throw out there as an 80s movies flashback, watch What About Bob? Because we're laughing so much, that's it reminded me of What About Bob with Bill Murray.
I love comedies, okay? So What About Bob is a great one. It's awesome. You don't even need to drink beer to watch that one. And then
Used Cars.
Used Cars. Nobody's seen Used Cars. I give up. Everything I talk about, no one's ever seen because I'm old, but I'm not that old.
Hi, Jay.
How you doing, Jay? Heather said, even though you heard her. So Used Cars.
Oh, Heather, I thought that was the
The
perch.
talking perch.
I forgot you're supposed to kill them before you stuff them. Maybe there's some AI in my perch. I hope it doesn't realize itself.
Conveniently sounds like your wife.
It's actually Spielberg's first movie.
It was one of Steven Spielberg's first movies.
I think so.
Used Cars. It's so campy and kind of a little bit some dumbness, but it's funny. You got to go into it with an open mind. It's old funny.
Generation X funny.
Generation X funny and just hilarious, and so Used Cars, and so there's a lot of comedies out there, and I like a good comedy that if you're drinking liquid, it comes out your nose when you're choking. So there's always some good stuff. Blues Brothers had it, but you expect it from that movie, the first one. And but no, so we like comedies around here, and I don't want any horror movies. Because then, about the time she puts on some kind of horror movie, I hear something in the basement. Could you go check out the furnace? I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, that's how that guy just got killed down there. I'm not going down there. Well, anyway, I'm sorry. This is supposed to be about fishing. Okay.
It's all fishing.
It's yeah. Well, and I guess, the fun thing about this show is, getting to know a little bit about the people that you've come to see and know and love as fishermen, because that is the nice thing is you do have social media. You are, kind of all over the place for fishing and angling of all sorts. So, people love that side of you and know that, but it's also cool to, get to know some of that other stuff. So,
yeah, I'm a New York DJ at night. I play Spin Records in New York. Just kidding. I fish, and the thing is, when you're out there all day, when I close my eyes, I'm telling you, I'm like comatose. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. And then, but I love it. Every day, wake up to go fishing is a great day.
Yeah.
And I bring it on serious. I want to get people their fish. But definitely get out fishing no matter where you're at. And fishing pressure is up 40 to 50%, but it doesn't mean anything when the bite is really tough, and then it gets forgotten, and the lakes do well. And every lake up here is absolutely full of walleyes right now. So it's going to be a tremendous midsummer bite. We're going to have a phenomenal fall bite. We're going to have a great late fall, early winter bite. And I think it's going to be great ice fishing because just the sheer numbers of everything. And some lakes get really beat up, because they get all the attention, which, the fish aren't just in those lakes. But big waters are really fun because they do hold the lion's share of the fish. Small waters are a little bit challenging in the wintertime. So, you got giant waters like Lake of the Woods, Red Lake, Leech Lake, Lake Winnebagosh. Those are 4 lakes that I spend a lot of time on. I'm not so much always on a little 2-acre, 20-acre lake in the middle of the woods. Some of those lakes get hit so hard. They're not really a thing. Big water is where you'll find me because, there's a lot of good aspects. There's a lot of big fish that evade hook and line in.
Yes.
So, yeah, go to brosguideservice.com and let me know if you want to go. Limited guide dates. If you book, you end up with me. You're stuck with me. I don't have 9 people under my umbrella. If I do have people I send to, but I don't take any of their money. There's a lot of corporate groups up here. Everybody's out there working for a percentage, and I don't do that. If I got friends that make money, they have kids, they're working for a living. If I get a trip, I'll set you up with someone that I share spots with, that I trust. And so I have a group of people I fish with, and we all work together. So you might be fishing, I might be booked, but you'll be fishing next to me with one of my friends, and they got good personalities, and they take a shower and stuff,
Usually.
So it's going to be a great year, and watch what's coming out on ICAST, and I think you're going to see some good stuff. So how long does the show go?
Well, like 50 minutes. So
I was going to say, we're kind of going late here, but
that's happens. That's awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you
anytime.
for being here. Yeah. No, and we will come and visit you at the Northland booth because that is a place that we often do see you. And you are a ton of fun to talk to. And even in person, I mean, your personality is not just show, that's really who you are. So, stop by and say hello to, if you see us or if you see Bro, go and talk fishing and let us know how your trip with him went.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time me because I might talk too long. You're going to have to leave. You'll be like, I just wanted to say hi.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, for the people at home, I know that they're going to check out your social media as well because you have a ton of announcements and all kinds of good stuff that show up there along with some great and beautiful fish. So to the people at home, thank you guys for being here.
Yeah. And you even go to my TikTok account. If you like to jam to a tune and look at a photograph, I have a TikTok account, and there's a little bit of a smart aleck in there, but you're gonna love some of the stuff. And but thanks for having me. And you know what? Let me tell you something. You guys I love the show. Have a great time with it, and good luck fishing. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, bro.
You guys too. And for the people at home, then we will see you on next week's episode of The Night Bite.
Night, everybody.